Hello, everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we have David and Ivy from D&I Investments, and we're going to talk about some things about real estate investing, wholesaling, and all that type of stuff. So, guys, welcome.
Thank you, Ishmael. It's great to be here.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'll just start with my first question. I just want to learn about your story a little bit. Can you tell us how did you guys start in real estate investing?
Yeah, so it's actually an interesting story. We had decided a couple of years ago that we wanted to get into something that our skill sets can suit both of our skill sets, right? Mm-hmm. Because David is more of the negotiator. He's the person that talks to people. He's in the steel manufacturing industry, and I'm in the medical field. So it was very difficult to figure out what would be the best for us. When we started looking into something that we could start as a business, we came upon real estate, and we started doing our research and looking into it. And that's when we really started getting that passion for wanting to step into that field and wanting to do a business within the real estate world. So that's kind of our story, short and sweet, mm-hmm. How we started our business, D&I Investment.
Okay, cool. So, David, I have a question for you. How did you find your first investment property? How was the process, and what do you do differently than this right now?
Okay, so our first wholesale deal actually was to do foreclosures, pre-foreclosures. Mm-hmm. And like our main focus is to help others. We want to help them not to have, the stuff on their records, try to keep their records clean so there's no problems on the long run. And make a long story short, we had a client come to us, our very first one, and it was at the beginning of a month. And I was like, all right, when is it going to be foreclosed on? And they said by the end of the month. So technically I had 3 weeks to, help this client out. And so I met up with him the following day with all the paperwork. I went through in person with him, line by line. I pretty much, walked with him through the whole process. Mm-hmm. And he was happy with all the results. After we did all the paperwork, then I started going and promoting it through my organic leads, to where I can, like on Facebook and Instagram and all that fun stuff. And we got a lot of hits on that property. And, within 3 days, I showed that property 4 times. And the third person I showed that property to ended up picking up the property. And then after we negotiated everything with him, meanwhile, the seller of the property, he's just sitting back and just waiting on us, Mm-hmm. We take care of everything. So it's out of the client's hands. They don't have to worry about anything. And after I negotiated everything with the buyer, within 24 hours, I had that title. And then within 4 days, it was closed. Oh. So, we got it to where it's not on this record.
Yeah, it's a pretty solid first deal. And I love that you frame it as a helping foreclosure people, because most of the people only see the investment and the money-making side of real estate. And there's also this side, helping people who are struggling, which is that was really cool. So another question will be, maybe Ivy, you want to answer. What are your goals in long term as a business?
Yeah, so what we're looking at right now is, right now our business consists of wholesaling, from primarily commercial wholesaling, and the other aspect of it is new build. So what our goal is eventually is to be able to build communities. Going back to what David talked about, we want to be able to help, not just individuals, but our communities as well. And to get into a position where we can build community for our community, is our long-term goal. We have to get to that point, and that is the track that we're on. So a lot of the business that we do, we're building networks, but at the same time, when we're building networks, the way that we think about it, and I feel like a lot of individuals that we've spoken to that are within our network feel the same way. We're building relationships, not just networks, right? We want to build that relationship with the individuals that we're working with or partnering with, because if you're trying to achieve a goal that is so big, like the goal that we have, you need to have a strong network. You need to have these relationships and strong relationships to be able to have those conversations and those difficult conversations as well, to get to that point, and so that's kind of our goal right now.
Okay, that's really cool. Like building relationships is very important because people really like to do business with people they like. So that's gonna be always plus one for you guys. So my next question going to be, uh, so what advice would you guys give to a new real estate investor?
The advice I would give to a new investor is to have patience. Gotta have a lot of patience. You will get a lot of pushback, a lot of negativity, a lot of people trying to come in and give you the wrong advice. Always make sure that you keep going forward and to do your own research. Because without your own research, you're not going to know what the other potential investors or other people that you're talking to are trying to do. You got to know your whole aspect of what your path is when it comes to, having your own investment or wholesaling company.
Exactly. That was a very solid advice, David. Thanks so much for that. So, moving to new question. How do you find your deals right now? Maybe David, you want to answer this too, because I know you are the one who is working on the deals and all that. What is your strategy to find new deals?
So when I first started the business, with my wife, my partner, I used to drive around and find signs that said for sale. It could be by a brokerage, it could be by a certain individual or by an owner, So it never hurts just to pick up a phone and make that connection, make that call. You will get a lot of brokerages and realtors that will not work with wholesalers. Okay. And the only way you're going to find out is to make that call. Now, after doing that, I kept in contact with all those phone people all those companies I've contacted, and stayed in touch with them. And every now and then I would just pick up a phone, give them a call, not even for business. I would just have a 5-minute conversation to see how they're doing. So I'm stuck in their back of their brain, and through that I've generated leads. And, every now and then I'll get a call saying, hey, do you know of anybody that has a shopping strip for sale in the northwest side of town or the southwest side or southeast side of town? Give me 24 hours. Let me see what I can pull up through, my list and put it through our network. And then usually I'll have some answers before the 24 hours is up. And it all started by just driving through, picking up the call with the random phone numbers.
Exactly. So don't get scared to put yourself out there. Just take the phone, make the calls, build the relationships, and it will flow like crazy. So
I still do it to this day.
still, yeah, like I see this problem a lot on investors and realtors too. Like they come somewhere, like they start to make good money and they achieve their some of their goals, and they stop doing what they get the success from. Like it can be a door knocking, can be call calling, it can be like calling random people. When you stop that, your business will affect, and most of the people wants to do that. It's really cool you guys not stopping and like going strong at it. I really love that. So you
But
talk.
one thing I want to say is that once we make those connections, we still use social media as organic leads. So we put the properties up there to build those other connections with the potential investors or buyers. So we don't completely cut all that out.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then the biggest thing also just wanted to add is that, I mean, social media is so big, right? But you have to filter out. There's always going to be times where you're going to find the wrong people. And, and that's just how it works, right? But once you find those right people, for example, in our other aspect of our business where we do new builds, we actually found our developer through social media and built a really good relationship with them. And they, at this point, we're looking at, investors look at their numbers and their bottom line, but also the relationship. Everything, it just kind of fit in the path of our strategy. And so, don't push back and, to an investor, a new investor, don't push back and say, oh, well, you can't do social media because, there's too many bad apples out there and there's, it's too salesy and no one wants to be a salesy person and stuff. There's so many strategies out there and, individuals that you can work with that once you find them, you will be able to achieve, the goals that you're trying to achieve.
Okay, so that was gonna be my next question, but you already answered it. Like social media, very important for creating those people, and you need to do good filtering and nurturing for those people because not everyone is really someone you want to work with. So actually, this is gonna be my last question. What would you say to new investors or wholesalers to do on social media? What do you guys do, and like give them an advice on social media?
Yeah, so let's step back a little bit and talk about time, right? So investors, when you're a real estate investor, you have this amount of time and this much amount of work that you need to do, right? To get to a point where it's a well-oiled machine and things are just kind of working for you, right? So when we're looking at that, as when we were like new investors, we were thinking, okay, one of the strategies that I learned, right, like David talked about, always research and there's so much out there of content of people that have been successful. And one of the biggest things that I learned was an individual that said, look at your time. How much is your time worth? Is it $100? Is it $200? Is it $1,000 an hour, right? And calculate that into, okay, I'm taking 5 hours to do, say, social media campaigns, and that's $5,000 of my time. Well, if I spend $2,000 to give to someone else, right, to do it, that would save me time and it would save me money. So you kind of have to think strategically, right? Think like you are the CFO, the CEO of this business, right? That's what you are. And you need to think strategically to see what can I hand out and what can I take on, right? You have to prioritize that because if you don't, you're going to, you will start getting burnt out and you will not be able to successfully complete the track that you're trying to put your business on, right? It's very, very important for you to have that network. It's very, very important for you to filter out those priorities that you feel could, would reduce your time and your money and send it off to someone else to do for you, right?
Exactly.
So social media is just like that, right? You should always be looking for individuals that are willing to help you. Of course, it goes back to building that relationship with your network. So having an individual that does, help out with the social media aspect of your business is a huge thing, because you're not only just getting your community and, your, even in social media, your community social media, but you're expanding to where you need to be. Real estate, especially when it comes to commercial, new builds, things like that, you should be looking to expand outside of your city, of your community, of your state, because, you can get buyers and sellers from anywhere, right? So that's a huge thing, I think, that the investors need to understand. Don't close yourself off to thinking that you have to do everything.
Exactly.
And you can also,
yeah, for sure.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
You can also look at it as value add to your business. Me personally, I try at least 3-4 times a week when I speak to a new potential partnership, to give them as much time as they want just to talk to me, so I can understand what they're looking for, what they want for their business. And doing so, it's value added. It's like doing a commercial property. Is there value added to it? So you want to run your business as value add. So the more you take the time out to talk to somebody, the more value add you bring into yourself. Because they're going to remember, these people at this company, David, was supposed to be 10 minutes, spent an hour and 30 minutes with me. And now I'm not afraid to come to him because he knows what he's talking about. So that's value add. It's not necessarily always putting a dollar on ads or whatever. It's what you think the worth is of your company and your time.
Exactly. Just like you said, like putting dollar on the ads or like creating posts on social media. It's just like a first step of your marketing funnel, and like there you need to add value. You need to you need to build a relationship with them, and you need to nurture them in the process to become a potential partners. So thank you guys so much for today. I love to talk to you guys. I love to work with you guys. I love this video also. Thank you for joining in my channel, and I hope to see everyone who listen and watch this video in next week's video. And thank you so much again.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for having us. Yeah.
Have a good one.